Now, whether it's the high stress situations, the workload, or the social dynamics of the job, our environment plays a massive role in shaping our mindset for better or for worse. So in this episode, I'm going to explore how these environmental factors impact mental health. But more importantly, how you can adapt, grow, and thrive in even the most challenging work environments. I'm going to show you some practical strategies to create a positive work culture, build a work-life balance that actually works, and learn to stay flexible and resilient in the face of constant change. So by the end of this episode, you're going to walk away with some real tools that you can implement right away to boost your resilience, manage stress, and thrive, no matter what environment you're in. Welcome to Shields Down, Healing for First Responders, the podcast supporting those on the front lines as they navigate PTSD and trauma. Each episode brings stories of resilience, expert insights, and tools for recovery, offering hope and a path forward. So put your shield down, reclaim your strength, and remember, you're not alone. So first of all, I want to talk about the influence of the work environment on mental health, right? As first responders, police officers, corrections, we're in high stress situations all the time, right? We face these high stress scenarios daily, from emergencies to life-threatening events, which can really lead to chronic stress and mental fatigue. And when you prolong this exposure without proper outlets for decompression, it can really contribute to burnout, anxiety, and even ultimately post-traumatic stress disorder. And then with that, there's that social support that's very, very lacking, right? We can exacerbate feelings of isolation and stress, right? When we, as officers, don't feel emotionally or professionally supported, it can really negatively affect our mental well-being. And it can lead to things like decreased job satisfaction, reduced resilience, maybe higher risk of mental health issues. And then another point that's going to really influence our work environment on mental health is the demanding workload that we have, right? The high demands of the job, right? The long hours, unpredictable shifts, the emotional labor, it can really lead to physical and mental exhaustion. So without proper rest and recuperation, this relentless pace can really contribute to the issues of depression, stress disorder, and that overall job satisfaction. So what we need to do is we need to begin to look at balancing that work-life balance, balancing the role between what you can do off shift and what you can do on shift, right? You want to have a clear separation between your work and personal life. Don't always have friends that you're with at work, right? Don't always have those people that when you have a barbecue, like, I'm not saying don't have friends from work, but when you have a barbecue, don't sit there and talk about work. I have a policy with my wife that when I come home from work, she gives me about 10 minutes to vent. So I tell her how my day went, the things that kind of happened, how it made me feel, things like that, and then I stop and I get on with dealing with her, having fun time with my family, and different things like that. Right? When you can have this separation, it's going to prevent burnout, it's going to reduce that stress, and really improve your overall well-being. Right? When you have that imbalance, it's going to add the negative things like fatigue, irritability, emotional exhaustion, and it can really diminish your resilience over time. So we really want to work through that and make sure that we're not pushing ourselves past that limit. And how do we do that? Well, we create boundaries. We create boundaries and prioritize personal time. If I were to ask you today, what are you doing for yourself? Could you honestly tell me something that you're just doing for yourself? Most people, it's like, no, well, I'm sitting watching TV. That's zoning out, right? What is something that you're going to do for yourself, for your mental health? Some people are like, I'm going to the gym, and that's amazing. Some people read books. Some people journal. Some people meditate, right? Some people go for a walk with their family. Some people hang out with their family, right? These are different things that you could do. because you have to begin to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries mentally and physically. You have to ensure that allotted time and say, look, I'm taking time between this time and this time, and I'm going to do my self-care. Between this time and this time, I'm going to just hang out with my family, right? Between this time, maybe I'll do my hobby, right? Have these different techniques and different times in your life that you have set for yourself. Delegate responsibilities. If there's things you have to do, like mow the lawn. How much does it really cost? Pay someone $20 to mow your lawn. That gives you that hour that it would take you to mow your lawn. Now you can do something else for yourself, right? Using these policies, and really it'll help you with your life balance, and it'll give you that healthier life that you're looking for. And another way is just to really enhance your supportive environment, right? What are some things, some places within your life that you can actually gain that support, right? You're listening to my podcast episodes, which is great. This is a good start to that support. But how can you feel supported, right? What can you do that promote flexibility, promote mental health resources, find that culture of understanding, right? It's going to push your life into that next level. It's going to help you become that person that you're striving to become. And then another point is just how emotional changes and learning to adapt to strategies, right? When you embrace flexibility in these high pressure situations, it's going to help you to adapt, right? Developing mental and emotional flexibility to handle your shifts in these work environments, right? Sudden changes in leadership, right? New policies, evolving community dynamics. I know different things in my organization, like I know a lot of people hate change, right? We're very much creatures of habit. We come in, we do our shift. If something's thrown off, or they throw in a new policy, or they're trying something new, people are like, what are you doing? And they get all pissed off and mad about it. But when we're resilient and we're building our life, and we know, okay, look, I adapt to change easily. This is something I've been working on. And then if you work on something strong enough, my friends, you're going to be thrown in situations that's going to allow you to work on that. That's my firm belief. So what you need to do is you need to understand that change is inevitable. We're always going to have change in our life. So you have to learn to staying open to that and adjusting to these new demands, because this is a key element to building your resilience, right? When we're stuck in that OODA loop of, oh man, it's just frustrating, and then something new happens, we're like, oh my gosh, I can't process this. We need to understand that you can process it, and you have to just begin to take one little bite of it and say, okay, look, I'm going to adapt to this little change and just go with it, right? You want to build personal stress management tools, things like coping mechanisms, mindfulness practices, breathing techniques, regular physical activities. All these different ideas are going to help you manage that stress during all these tough environments that we're in, right? You have to have these go-to strategies. What are they for you? What do you do in a stressful situation when your heart rate's elevated? Is there anything you do for yourself? Or do you just kind of fight through it and then just hope it kind of goes away? You have to have these strategies that you can use and say, look, when this happens, this is the strategy I use. And this is going to help you both in the moment and over long term. And it's going to help to maintain that mental health in ever-changing environments that we deal with on a day-to-day shift. And you have to have those supportive networks. My friend, you have to have people out there that are willing to listen and reaching out to you and saying, hey, I heard you dealt with this situation. What's going on? Right? Because this support system with you, for you, at work, in your personal life, it's going to provide a buffer against those stressors of change. Right? You have to seek mentorship, engage in peer support programs, cultivate personal relationships that offer that emotional support, and give you practical advice during times of uncertainty. Find those people. There are programs out there. I can promise you almost every, we're in 2025 now, and I can promise you almost every organization that I've spoken with has some kind of a program. But people aren't implementing because of the stigma around it. Well, I don't want to look weak going to this program. You're not looking weak, my friend. You're taking care of yourself, right? One of the policies I live by is a book that I read, and it's called "What You Think About Me Is None of My Business." Right? It doesn't matter what people think about you. What's important to you? Your family, your personal life, serving your community. These are the things that are important to you. So why does it matter what your fellow officers think if you go and get help? Please, my friends, get the help that you need. And finally, I want to leave you with this exercise. It's an adaptation and stress management practice, right? So it's going to help you develop flexibility, build personal stress management, and strengthen your social network. So first of all, identify a recent change that you've had. So think about a recent change in your environment. It could be a new protocol, new policy, leadership shift, or maybe a change in your personal life that's really impacted your life. Write down how you initially reacted to this change. Were you anxious, frustrated, unsure of how to adapt? How did you feel? Right? And then begin to assess your flexibility. Step 2. Right? Ask yourself, how flexible was I in handling this change? What did I do? Did I push through it? Did I stay stuck? Right? Write down 2 things that you did that demonstrated about adaptability, that you did well. And then write down 2 things that you could have done differently to be a little bit more flexible, to learn from this change. And then the third thing is you're going to build your stress management tool. So try one stress management technique that you haven't tried before. Right? Deep breathing, maybe a short mindfulness exercise. Hopefully you're journaling now and you're writing this in your journal. Do that, right? And then over the next week, practice this technique once a day. And then really, particularly in the moments of stress or change, try this and try these mindfulness techniques. Reflect on how it made you feel, whether it helped you manage your stress or not, and then adapt it and change it and make it work for you. And then the fourth thing is I want you to find your support network, right? Identify just one person around you that you can trust at work and one person that you can trust in your personal life that you can lean on for support. Reach out to them over the next week to either check in or to ask them for their advice in something you want to deal with, right? And if you haven't already, I plead you, my friends, explore those peer support groups within your department or within your community, right? Consider joining one just to strengthen that. I'm not saying you have to go weekly or even monthly, but just have your name in the hat and have a place to go if it needs to go. And then at the end of the week, reflect on this and say, okay, what did I do? Did I notice any changes in how I adapted to the stress? Was I able to rely on my toolkit and all these things that I'm learning? Did my support network help me out when I needed? Right? And then adjust it. Adjust your approach where necessary and continue to practice this flexibility. Right? It's like trying something new, right? You try it, it doesn't work, so you switch it a little, try something else. That's what I want you to do with your mental health, my friends. Try these different techniques that, I might suggest something here and it doesn't work for you. So find something that works for you. Right? This exercise is going to help build the foundation for thriving in environments full of change and making you more adaptable and resilient in the face of these new challenges that come into our lives and show up in our shifts. So as we wrap up today, it's clear that the environment that we work in has a profound impact on our mental health and resilience. It's clear from that. So from the stresses of the job to the social dynamics at play, your surroundings can either lift you up or they can weigh you down. But the key takeaway here is that you have the power to adapt. You have the power to manage stress and shape your response to these environmental challenges. By embracing flexibility, building a strong stress management toolkit, and fostering a strong support network, you're not just surviving, my friends. You're setting yourself up to thrive, even in the most difficult circumstances. Remember, resilience isn't just something you're born with. It's a skill that can be cultivated with the right mindset and strategies. So I really hope that you found today's discussion valuable and that the tools we shared empowered you to take control of your mental health and resilience. Now, if you have any questions or insights, feel free to reach out. That's what I'm here for. And don't forget to take care of yourself both on and off the job. Thank you for tuning in to Shields Down, Healing for First Responders. Remember, healing is a journey, and each step forward matters. Now, if today's episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories, insights, and tools for recovery. Together, we'll build a stronger, more resilient community. Until next time, stay safe, stay strong, and we'll see you on the next episode.